Well, oh my gosh. People are talking about home prices falling. Home prices falling. Home prices falling. Is that a truth? Yeah, you know what? Okay, look. Since April of 2022, they are correct. Home prices have come down. The median sales price continues to drop, continues. And then January 2023, we see no way, median sales prices on the rise, on the rise. Takes a little dip in September of 2023. A little play by play for you on what's happening over here in the MLS in our California area. This is the entire MLS stats, guys, and it can't be any more accurate than in November 2023. Prices popped up again, only take a sharp drop in January 2024, and then slowly creeped right back on up. May 2024, we are at an entire MLS median sales price of 860,000, and that's on the rise, not on the decline. So I know the news is telling you that, and I know that you want to really hope and pray that makes great sense so that you can buy a house soon. And the reality is, prices continue to rise. They are showing volatility just like the stock market. Are you invested in the stock market? Are you buying in the stock market? I just recently started buying, making little investments in the stock market. And full disclaimer, I am not a wealth advisor. I am not a stock market professional nor analyst. And I only just got started myself. And boy, oh boy, is the market so volatile right now. Just with the little bit that I own, it has been really, really interesting. I would love to hear what your guys' favorite picks are. But the back to the real estate market. The real estate market is continuing to show a rise, right? It's just continuing to show a rise in the market. So in the news, other news, right? You hear like there's so much going on with real estate, the do's and don'ts. What should I do? What should I not? Will I ever be able to afford a home? Affordability. I'm going to come back to, when should you buy a home? When it makes great sense for your personal financial situation. I jumped over here and I was just looking in the news again, right? In the real estate news, Susie Orman tells a woman who has $200,000 in savings not to buy a house. Why is that? Because where she wants to buy is not affordable for her. And that's the deal, right? Where do you want to buy? Where do you want to live? I have so many people coming to me personally and saying, Lori, I want to buy a house. Can I buy a house? Should I buy a house? Well, let's talk about that. Let's look at your numbers. I have someone who said, I want to buy a house and I want it to be with a casita and I want this and I want this and I need this and I need that. Oh my goodness. All the things we need and want don't necessarily line up with the budget that we live in. Okay. It's just the reality of it. So going back to the story about Susie Orman, who tells this lovely lady she can't buy a house yet, is a truth. She can't buy a house yet. What do you need? You need financial stability, right? You need to know that you've had the same job, probably not even for 2 years, even though that's all a lender requires. You may need to know that you've had it for 3, 4, 5, or 6 years, just to know that you feel confident about your income, right? Savings wise. Now we're talking about savings. Depending on where you're buying is what you need to have in savings. You know, you could buy with as little as 1% down. You could buy with as little as 0% down. Yes, you can. I remember last year, I believe it was, we had someone buy $1 million home with 0% down. Their payment was like $9,000 a month. Hey, it made sense for them financially. Would that make sense for you at 0% down? Potentially, it's a no. So talk to a lender. It's a great place to start and see, does this make great sense, right? Long-term plans. I say buy a house if you're going to stay in the neighborhood for more than 4 to 7 years. Just buy that house if you're going to stay in the neighborhood. If you're not going to stay in the neighborhood, it's a really expensive purchase. And then I'm going to go back to my Dave Ramsey roots, debt to income ratios. Let's say the lower amount of debt, maybe no debt, right? I know people believe it's not possible you can have no debt. It is possible. You don't have to create unnecessary debt. I heard in another podcast I was listening to this morning, like, you know, should I sell my house because I have so much debt piling up against me and I have this great house, but I'm just feeling overwhelmed? The truth is, you will feel overwhelmed if you've got too much going out and not enough coming in. So, yeah, you should probably consider selling your house so you can reset your situation. I helped clients a few years back. That's exactly what they did. They bought a beautiful home many years ago. Then they got themselves in a financial crisis of just overwhelming debt for them. What that is independent to your circumstance. But it made sense to them. So they said, enough is enough. I'm tired of the debt. I am gonna move this forward. The quickest and fastest way was to sell their house. Eliminated all their debt, they got rid of it, and I got to meet them and help them with the purchase after all that mess. That was exciting. I loved seeing that. How did that happen? I met them at a Dave Ramsey retirement seminar, and they are doing so successful now. I mean, you'll even hear he recorded on my podcast. He's one of our, I believe he's either an Airbnb or a VRBO executor. He gets to help people with that. You go back to that episode. We have it. It is a fantastic episode. And he has so much wisdom to share if you're interested in Airbnb or VRBOing. Not my gig. I don't do it. You might, just depends, right? So, what do we do? How do we do this? What are some other things I should take into consideration when thinking about buying a house? Interest rates, of course. Everyone said, oh my gosh, houses were so expensive when interest rates were at 2%. And now, well, houses are even more expensive, and the interest rate is around 7% right now. So, look, I'm not going to say base it on interest rates, especially one if you're a cash buyer. Base it on the return on investment. Run your numbers. And are you occupying this resident or are you renting it out, right? And then housing market trends will impact when you should buy and sell. Doesn't necessarily impact when you should buy or sell. What? Lori, didn't you just say it doesn't? It doesn't? It is personal to your circumstance. I had a client who came to me once and he said, Lori, I want to buy a house. I said, okay, great. He was in one of the hottest markets and he was one of the most analytical men I've known in my lifetime. And he still is. And I finally sat down with him and I said, you know what? This is not the market for you. It is better if we look at this and revisit this when you have time to analyze and take time to decide on what the right house is for you. Because at that time, there was no time to think about, is this the right decision? Is this the wrong decision? Is this? And he wanted to analyze the numbers of the property. There's just some markets that are not built for your personality, your ability, the way you like to process things. So recognize that, recognize what's happening in the housing market trends with your real estate professional supporting you, and then decide when it's a great market for you to buy. Another thing to take into consideration, right, is seasonal trends. I personally love to buy in November, December, and January because everyone's busy stuffing their faces and visiting the family and not thinking about the real estate market. So it just makes great sense for me personally. I don't have to service many clients during that time either. And I just end up getting a better price on a property. And I have paid off my taxes. I've dealt with all my drama financially. So I can go into purchasing a property during that time of season. You need to just decide personally, what is the best time for me to buy real estate? How does it impact me, right? It's just a matter of what makes great sense for you. I encourage you to focus in on all the trends that are out there that make better sense for you when buying a home. There's so many things that impact you when buying a home, right? We went through the trends. What it, can I have $200,000 in the bank and buy a home? Depends on where you decide to buy. Just depends, right? We went through what the market's doing financially. The market's on a rise and it continues to go up and continues to show uh, prices just increasing here locally. It does not, it does not show anything, well, it just doesn't show us settling down. It just doesn't, at least in the last 4 or 5 months. I mean, my kid just said to me when he was doing his real estate analysis of what's in the news today, well, Mom, everyone's saying prices are coming down in the next 6 months. I don't know. Is that true or not? Again, I do not have that crystal ball. But I do have episode 33, which I suggest you listen to if you're discouraged in your real estate hunt because you're just like, I don't get this real estate market. Listen to episode 33, Staying Optimistic Through Your Real Estate Journey, because you can stay there. You can choose to do it or not. It's really up to you.